Brought to you by DistroKid. One of the best parts of joining DistroKid is being able to take advantage of all of the ways you can promote yourself as an artist. If you head to the Goodies tab and click Promote Yourself, you will find plenty of creative ways to promote your next release, grow your fan base with hyperfollow or through the new social phone, and even join Upstream, which is a new service for artists who are interested in record label opportunities. If you're planning on signing up, don't forget to use the code below and save 7%. Hey guys, my name is JAde and welcome to Dallas Jamming. In this video, we're taking a look at the Roland MC-707. You guys have asked me countless times to have this on the channel. We got the opportunity to get it in the studio, and here she is, a beautiful 8-track groove box. One of the cool things about this device compared to something like the TR8 or the TR80S is that each track isn't necessarily its own sound. Let me get my headphones on. So for example, our track number 1, it's not only just a bass drum, it's actually a whole drum kit. So that's going to be really convenient and saving us space so we can use all our other tracks for other things. You even see that I even have one track that's unused because there's so much that you can fit into each one of these tracks, and you can tell that it's unused because it's unlit right here. So I'll be completely honest with you guys, when I first heard about this machine, I was a little bit thrown off about it because of the screen. I really like devices that don't have screens, that are just button per function or knob per function, and so that kind of kept me away from checking it out for a while. But after messing with it and seeing what it's actually capable of, this is a very deep device. It even samples, which is actually one of the coolest things on it. I'm not going to look at that today because I don't have my guitar right now. We're just going to be looking at the internal sounds and what you're able to do with just a machine, not even plugging a MIDI keyboard into it, because I feel that's really important. Yes, you could plug a MIDI keyboard into it and get a lot more expression through your keys, but with a groove box you sometimes just want to take it on its own and not be dependent on anything else, and I think that it's important to put it to its test just on its own. So today we're just going to be looking at the 707, no external effects, no external keyboards or anything like that, just what it's capable to do on its own. So like I said, this thing is really deep. I feel I haven't even scratched the surface on it, but it's very capable of doing a lot of cool stuff. So what you're seeing right now, this is the clip layout. This is the main menu. Every other menu exits out to this menu. So after getting familiar with this menu, the screen starts to make more sense, and having that visual representation of the clips, which is what we see here and what translates over here, it's really cool to actually be able to see it on the screen. So it's kind of warming up to me. So let me just do a quick overview of the machine before we start. Over here to the left, we have our volume control, separate headphone output. We have the shift button that lets us access all our secondary functions. Our project menu where we can load, manage, and make new projects. Our quantize button, when it's lit, it means that our quantize is set to 100%. We have our record button, that means that it's actively ready to record, of course. And then we have our motion record, which lets us record our actual knob movements. If this is on, then it's going to record the knob movements. We have our scene buttons that before the latest update, they used to just take you to that specific scene, but now these scenes, you can set them up as banks. So if you go to the settings under scenes, you will now see type 1 and type 2, and type 2 is the newest one that came with the update, which allows you to press the scene button, and now these are actually our banks. So we get a better visual representation of all of our patterns, so I think that's really cool. It's going to be really useful for live sets. And with the latest update, we get a new feature that allows us to change the scenes consecutively, so we're going to be looking at that today. We have our measures that you can set when the track is blank. After you've set it, you can't really mess with it though. So what you do is you press shift and then measure, and then it allows you to change the steps that way. You can also duplicate the length of your measure by pressing function and pressing the measure button, so that's convenient. For each track, we have a filter that we can set, modulation for each track, and our effects amount for each track. This is our TR style step record input. So to input a note, you just press the button. You can also just play the notes live, and you can even set it to step record, so when you press a specific note, it just adds that step to the sequence. To the right, we have our effects section. Our reverb, delay, can be master or can be individual per track, and then our multi-effects, which lets us choose the effect that we want, and we are able to toggle it on and off. We have these 4 knobs that control different things depending on the menu. Our sound is how we choose the sound for each specific track depending on the type of track that we have. There's a few types of tracks. Let me show you with this empty track right here. So when you have an empty track, this is the menu that it's going to take you to. So you can choose from your tone track, which is your synthesizer track, your drums, your drum with a compressor, which give those drums an extra oomph, and then we have our looper. One of the things that I wish they would have done on the MC-707, I don't know if this is possible to do through an update, but is to have more sample time, because to be able to use this as a looper, it's such an amazing looper that I really wish that you had more sample time, because it's not enough to call it a looper, something like the Octatrack or the RC505. And it's such an amazing looper because of the sequencer, but yeah, so hopefully they can add some more time to that. I don't know if that's a hardware limitation or if it's something that can be done through software, but I thought I'd mention that. And then we have our input. This is how we control whatever is going into our inputs over here. Exit just takes you back to this main menu. And then enter is how we confirm our selection for most things. We have our giant beautiful value knob that allows us to move around in our clips and also allows us to set their tempo. And then right here at the bottom is how we navigate through like where we are on the MC. So if you want to be in notes, inputting notes, if you want to be in the chord mode, there's also a scatter mode. If you want to access quick mutes, this is the way to do it, and to access our clips. So enough talk, let me show you guys what I have going on here. I'm going to play you the song that I've created on this thing, and then after that, we're going to check out the new scene chain mode to see what we can do with that. Alright, that was a lot of fun. And as you saw, I barely even like used any of the effects because I'm still like trying to wrap my head around this thing, but you still saw how fun that was. So there's two ways to access our scenes. One is by pressing scene and then getting access to the blue buttons, and the other one is by holding clip and getting these yellow and green buttons. So the new chain mode allows us to change scenes consecutively. Unfortunately, it's not really like a song mode because it doesn't let us say, for example, play scene 1 2 times, play scene 4 3 times, play scene 2 4 times. Like, it doesn't really allow us to jump around like that. It's only consecutively. So just keep that in mind when you're building your scenes. In order to turn on chain mode, what you're going to want to do is get into the blue scenes and then press shift and one specific scene. Okay, so we're going to turn on our chain mode, and then I'm going to choose the length that I want that scene to play. So let's do that at 8. Then we're going to change this one to 4. Our next scene, let's do that one to 4 as well. Scene 4, let's do that one at 1. 8, and then our last scene, we're gonna leave it to off, and what that's gonna do is just gonna keep playing that last scene repetitively. So let's do this. So you see how easy it is to get a structured song going. This is cool when like you have something else that's playing the effect. So for example, let's say I would have going this out into my SP404 and mangling the effects on there while the song plays more planned out and it's structured and I don't have to worry about chaining scenes manually or muting and unmuting. I will say that every person has a different workflow. Me personally, I like to change my scenes live and really build my pattern depending on like what the crowd is feeling. So I have more control over like how many bars something is gonna play instead of having it more planned out. So for me, I don't really see myself using this mode as often, but I do like the fact that they've added this whole thing to like represent banks and now these are my scenes because it really does give a more visual representation, really allows you to change scenes on the spot and really build your song that way. I hope you guys like that little jam. Let me know in the comments below what questions you have about the MC-707. I'll do my best to answer them. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm JAde. I make tutorials about synthesizers, music production, and being an artist. If you would like to support what I do, consider becoming a patron. You get all of my music, my sound packs, art, you name it. If you can't afford to be a patron right now but would still like to support this channel in some way, you can check out my dope synthesizer swag. I make really cool, awesome synthesizer shirts that I design myself, as well as sample and sound packs that you can get on DallasJamming.com. That's it guys, stay fly, and I'll catch you in the next one.